We're going to stop so I can get my glasses.
I found them.
Hooray! Where were they?
They were kind of.
I don't remember putting them in.
Not, they're empty. Not found them.
I was going to say I don't remember putting them back in the case. I hot swapped them so I could set the camera up. So basically, just swapped them from one. Oh no, I didn't swap them. I just put them on the floor.
Floor.
Wow, look at these crows.
Oh.
Oh, look at this for a view. We've just stumbled upon something complete. Wow! Look at that, just an accident. It was just an accident. Whoa! Now this is what it's all about. Look, let me just adjust the camera lens so that I can make sure. Have you got my glasses? I can't see a thing. Just my normal glasses will do. I hate these glasses dilemmas. Right, so because I can't see a thing. It looks like the camera's picking this up and it looks good. Yeah, that's okay. Didn't leave them at the shops, did I?
I don't think you had them.
Oh, here they are.
Oh, there.
They've fallen down They've fallen down the blooming side, haven't they? Look at this. Hold on to that. Have you got you're filming? I don't blame you. It's fantastic.
What are you looking for?
That's what you want to film. Look at the way the sun's. Let's go. This is Cortina City, and this is farmer baiting. Let's go. This is the closest thing we're going to get to a car show, folks. We are strictly off-road. This is off-road grass track racing with Lee Holmes. Off-road grass track racing. Oh, what did I say? Off-road grass track tracing. No, off-road grass track racing.
Oh, we're in someone's field, we'll get chased.
Sat-nav told me to go here.
Handbrake turn. Ooh, it's a bit bumpy. Ooh. Get chased by the farmer.
Well, where's the fence?
Oh, where did we come in? There. That looks somewhere different. That went quick, that.
Hmm?
It went quick. I didn't think we'd gone that far. Oh my goodness me. Oh! Shine all day. Oh my god. Please someone tell my kids where my will is. I haven't got one, by the way. Oh. Simone, Sheldon, and someone else came on, but I've lost them. Oh my god! Oh. It's singing now. Sorry about the sound effects, everyone. I'm just nearly on a canary pit and a kitten at the same time. Oh. This man's bloody mental. Oh.
Ooh. Oh, strictly moving on. What's it? Oh, we got a clear route, or they just parked up? Whoa! It's a sharp shimmy. Okay, a little bit of narration as I was just cleaning up these reflectors. So Bramble's rear lights then, and now we're going on to doing these boot lights. Normally on the Cortina you put your side lights on, and the fact that it lights up inside there for your side lights shines through this little window which lights the boot up. So to get boot lights you've got to turn your side lights on. Not the best idea, but at least it's an attempt. So what I do, I fit these chip on board cob type or LED arrays on a little board, then attach them inside the what they call a Fresnel lens. It's just the way that it's arranged in the lenses, a way of dispersing light basically, that is. I put them there with the epoxy glue, thread the cable through the grommet, then I wire that into a switch, so when I open my boot 12 volts goes to that. Don't need your side lights on anymore, and it's a lot brighter, so you get a nice boot lamp that's discreet and again factory looking. The other thing I do with these, and it's an important one this, is I fit uprated stop and tail, and there's a stop and tail bulb that I use, or I've switched to. I did use a similar Osram one, similar idea. This is an LED that back reflects, okay? So the Cortina needs that bowl. You can see the bowl there is a concave bowl, and that creates kind of like quite a nice diffused lamp light which fills the lens nicely. You can get bulbs from eBay that look a bit like this. We call the Chinese type Chinatown ones. They're not as good for two reasons. Firstly, don't back reflect, most of them don't. Secondly, the ratio between side lamp and tail and stop lamp isn't very high. It's almost like a ratio of like 2 or 1. Like, in other words, 1 time brighter, but there's not much difference between having your side lights on and pressing the brake pedal, so they're actually more dangerous. So I don't think you should get them and fit them. They're more dangerous because you actually can't tell when you've got your brake lights on. They're actually rubbish. This isn't one of them, by the way, this is an indicator one. The indicator ones are all right, but then you've got problems with your flasher. You've got to put a load resistor in, and that's what these are. I do use LED indicators because they're more visible, so I do use them, and I will be using them on this, and that's what these load resistors are. The current draw on a indicator bulb is enough to fire your flasher unit, but on an LED type bulb it's not enough to get the bimetallic strip heated up inside your flasher behind the dash. So you fit these sort of load resistors. In this case these are 6 ohm, 50 watts, and that makes the current draw a bit heavier through the flasher relay, so you get flashing LEDs, indicators. So that's that. But the brake light itself, they're great, these Philips ones. So this is Philips Utilin LED, 25 quid each, 49.95 a pair. Dear, okay, and you probably get them for 40 quid if you shopped around. Very expensive, but really, really worth it. It fires backwards, fills this with a really great light. These are red, not white, so you get a deep red coming through your lens. They work really well. Believe me, you're going to see that when we test them. Don't get anything else other than this if you can help it, because these are the best. I've tried all sorts. For Cortina lamps, this is what you want. Okay, and they are superb, and the ratio on them between tail lamp and stop is something like a ratio of 4, something like that. It's a lot higher. If you ever wanted to prove that theory of the ratio, you can measure the current that it draws when it's on side lights, and then measure the current when it's on stop lamp, and then you can work out by just dividing them out what kind of ratio it is. I think they're 2 or 3 ratio, which is what you need. If you've just got these type, and you as I say, you press your brake pedal and you can hardly tell your brake lamps are on, what's the point? You know, you're actually just defeating the object. The whole object would be for safety. These do give you extra safety features in that the wavelength of it's different. You can see it further away. It seems to cut through fog and rain better than the filament bulb does. So I just think you can't. It's just an essential upgrade if you ask me. I would never not do this anymore. So we're going to look at those later on. Before we get to that point where we look at the the effectiveness of that bulb, we're going to get on and wire these boot lights in. Now I'm going to heat shrink this. I'm going to place some epoxy on them pads there, just so that if you ever snag these wires, it won't snap them off the pad, because that's quite a thin coating there, and I can see that lifting if we're not careful. Then we epoxy it in, because they're permanent, they're good for life of the car. In that would go there, using our Speed Fix epoxy 2. We'll show you that in a sec. The cables will then go heat shrink over them, pass them through the grommet, they'll come onto the outside. We need to attach an earth tag to the casing of this, so there's one mod we've got to make, and that's we've got to drill in a little earth tag. Here it is, and that has to go there because it needs to pick up the earth. Could pick it up off this as well, keep it neat. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll drill and attach it to this. That might be a better move actually. So we won't bring that earth out, we'll just bring the single core out to the outside world. So we're going to get on. I'm going to do a bit of soldering. The soldering iron's ready, so we're just going to put you back on the tripod. We'll do a little bit of work. We'll get this up to speed. We'll fit the super duper red lamp. We've cleaned all these now, as you saw, and then we'll put it into the back of the car and we'll see how it looks. But before we make any more progress, I'll talk you through just briefly now the fog and reverse lamp mod that we make. Here's a standard insert for the car. Reverse light on the left of your screen, I think. In the middle of your screen now, because I never get left and right, left, right, that backwards. Indicator there. Okay, that goes in and creates the lamp. What I do, or what I'm going to do, this is a new thing for Project Bramble, it's not been done on any of the other cars, convert the reverse lamp to a twin prong fitting. Now that involved chopping off the top, slight chopping off the top of the die cast shape and fitting from a scrap lamp unit, which just down here on the floor was our donors. Come over next to Henry and have a look at the donor unit that we got. These are facelift vehicle lamps, and I've took off a dual socket, so twin pronged socket there, the stop and tail socket off that light, and fitted it into where the reverse lamp would go, which gives me two connections. And then what we've got is this special bulb, again off eBay. This doesn't need to have the same characteristics as the stop and tail in terms of the difference between brightness, because it's two totally separate colours. Red, quite bright, and that's for fog lamp, and then white, normal, for reverse. So what we've got is, built in to the reverse lamp, the bulb will go red, and that's connected to my fog light switch, so it gives me fog lights, and that's it. And when the fog lights are off and the car's in reverse, you've got normal white reverse lamps. It's a way of getting fog lights into the car but keeping it factory looking. So that's great. No doubt someone will say it's illegal. I'll just turn it off then. It's for off-road use only if it is illegal. If it is legal, I'll use it. If it's not, it's for off-road use. I don't care. I know it's going to be a great mod. So that's the way it works. And we've already done that one ready. You can just see how that socket slides over there. So we've modified this. We're going to have an all singing, all dancing tail lamp system. Fog, reverse, nice very bright boot lamp, and a lovely deep red, bright but not too bright, because you don't want your tail lights too bright. You just want them nicely visible. You don't want to be annoying people, but those brake lamps want to be really punching through when they come on, and that's exactly what this setup's going to do for us. Let's get busy soldering, heat shrinking, some epoxy resin, assemble the whole lot together. Now it's all cleaned, and we'll test it in the car. Let's get moving. Exciting stuff. Tail lights there. Okay, first things on. Earth. Should be able to get it through here. Won't be seen, so let's see if we can get this to go through. Here we go. Let's bring it round. That's it. There's our earth tag going on. Discreet and out of the way. That's the earth tag, so that this can connect to it. just there like that. Obviously it's a little bit tight, but there's enough cable to get through. I can always undo this now and put it on after now we've made the hole for it. That will go in there, doesn't get in the way. And it just leaves this positive feed cable to come out with a male connector on the end. So we fit this male connector on the end, we get our little rubber boot. There's a rubber boot knocking around somewhere. There's our rubber boot, on goes the boot. And there's a female cable already installed, pre-installed when I built the loom, to take this, squeeze that on there. We'll solder this, hold on, we'll solder it, don't worry. Folding these over. And then I'll put a little board down, it just means you don't burn things. Also helps for filming for you, because a white board confuses the camera and a non-clear board confuses the camera as well, because you get like bits of overspray and paint making for a less clean image on the screen. Right, so that's that. It needs some epoxy on it, and you could argue we should put heat shrink over there really, I suppose. Should have done that before that went on, but I think it'll actually go over it. Just looking, I've got various sizes of heat shrink, just a little bit off screen for you. Oops, rip that in. Yeah, this should go over, to be fair. I think it will go over. Just. The moral of the story is put your heat shrink on first, but don't worry, we could just do it at the other end. Ain't a big deal. What's a little bit of solder between friends. Slide that on, solder that back on there. Got to remember to resin this up, just to give it some strength. Brown can go through now. Just neatens it up at that end. So this is the boot light. Let that get up to there. Just want to go just underneath here, like this, make them nice and neat, like that. Get the heat gun on. And now, time to epoxy that in before we connect the earth connection up to it. So now we're at this stage. I want to get that into there. Now the epoxy is good because it's 5-minute cure time. Speed epoxy mentioned earlier. Here it is, great stuff. Get some of this in your collection. A little bit of cardboard and a spatula to mix this. We'll get a mix on. You'll see this fitted in a sec. Catch you very shortly. Here we go, we're building these lights very nicely. Okay, the glue is on the mix, just to lower your screen. The good thing about these little chip things is that they fit exactly into the window, which is great. This stuff today is curing very quickly. We're already at half viscosity now. Didn't hang about that, I tell you. For a dollop in each corner. Never really liked that word dollop. It to me means botch. So it's not a dollop. Some on the cables to help them. And then a blob in that corner. And that'll lock it in place. I'll position it square in a sec. One more. It doesn't need to be a seam all the way around. Just 6 locking points with the epoxy resin is sufficient, I would have thought. Okay, now time to position that straight. And that's the trick. We could do with a screwdriver to hold this. Here we go. We'll come in and we'll just lock it straight. There we go, look, as easy as that. And that'll cure shortly. Now, I could hold this on forever. I'm trying to do this so my arm doesn't go in front of your screen. Tricky, you need to be a little bit ambidextrous. Left-handed, right-handed is what we need. It soon goes to the point where you can let go. So leave that to cure. We'll catch you in a sec. Right, we're getting to a position where we can test it. Here's an orange indicator bulb LED, which I do like. Purists, it's up to you, you know, purists don't like the look of an LED stop and tell. Will that fit in there? Should no reason why. Unless this is offset pin. Looks like we've got offset pins. We have. They've sent me the wrong ones. What a shame. There's two types. Why they changed and make those pins like that, I don't know. What a shame. They won't go in. That's ruined that idea. Oh dear, I'll have to reorder offset pin for them. No good. I could demonstrate everything else though. That is a shame. Although funnily enough they look offset. Oh no, they are straight through. I don't think you can even really file that off. It's never going to really lock into the. It's never going to lock into the thing properly. Try it. I have nothing to lose. These are not used to me anyway now. So it's only going to work a certain way round. So we'll see. Power to that. Nothing. Oh, hold on, earthification. There we go, that does work. Strictly wrong pin on it, but there you go. Orange or amber indicate. Okay, I've put all the bulbs in. We're going to test everything now. Boot light first. We have to earth it. The earth comes in just all off this casing. The boot light's on. Have a look at that for brightness. I think you can just about see it. There's your boot light. Bright, very bright. And then we'll have a fog light here and a reverse on the left hand side cluster of your screen. Let's earth it. So fog, bright as well. And then reverse, all in the same unit. So that's that bit. Then the indicator just there. Again, we'll have to earth it. So we've got LED indicator. Not everyone likes LED indicators on classic cars. I do, I like them. There's the load resistor for the indicator to make sure it'll trigger the flasher unit. And that is that. We can put the stop and tail bulb in there now, bring all the cables through to the back of the unit, put the lens on and we'll see what it looks like. But that's basically my Mk3 rear tail light conversion. So my Phillips, my lovely Super Phillips bulb going in, place him in there. I'll show you that now actually, why not. Okay, so the Phillips bulb's in. The earth on that is actually not needed off this casing now, so this should give us, so that's tail. Now can you see that on your screen, how that bowl picks it up and it creates that round light? That's why the LEDs need to face that way and get the proper, spend your money, get a proper quality bulb, and then you've got it. And there's your stop light properly. That is how it should be. See, tail and stop, the proper ratio between the two. Tail and stop. And that is how I like to do it at the city. Okay, let's assemble all this now. We're looking exciting. Okay, this is the layout before I put the lens back on. Looking smart. Everything in and ready to go. Lens on, then let's put it in the car. I just spotted that resistor. Might have created a shadow, so I've moved it behind the back. And before anyone asks about the clock not operating, you might have spotted it when I'm doing the wiper test. Fuse is out because I don't want the interior lights on all the time, burning the bulbs. So whilst you can turn the centre interior light, front interior light, you can't turn the centre one off. So because the door switches are always open, it was on all the time. Now, could have took the bulb out, I guess, but right, there you go. So just in case anyone spotted the clock not working, it does work. Right, resistor moved, now put the cover on. Some new stainless steel screws to go in. These have a nice stainless screw and a little retaining plastic rubber washer thingy. Let's find a decent lens and fit it. I've got a yellow dot on mine. I fit them when I've done some modifications, such as electronics and stuff, so I know it's had a mod done to it. It's part of the CPAC modification system. Mustn't forget this dum-dum putty round the edge of the lamp to waterproof it into the car, otherwise you'll get leaks around your tail lights. This stuff, I get it from Frost, frost.co.uk, Frost Automotive. It's a kind of like putty which you can use for your indicators, your tail lights, your wings, stuff like that. It's basically a car type putty. Comes in like licorice rolls like this, and you get it in a box, Eastwood from Frost. So we put that on there, and now we've got a lovely light. It's all ready. It's ready to go into the car here, so you can step back in a minute once I've fitted this, and we'll give it a test. In theory, as soon as I start connecting it up, because the boot's active and open, the boot lamp should fire up straight away. Let's see what happens. This is exciting. Okay, just got to nip up the bolts now for the lamps. Coming in just across your screen. Let me just see that I don't block your view. I'm going to flip around my viewfinder on the camera and just make sure I'm alright for you, which I am. So nipping up, what size are we on? It looks like, well, I've never known them to be 11, but I didn't know they were 11s. What are they doing 11? What are you doing 11s? I thought they were 10s. No, they're not. They're not 11. They're not 10. There's something not right. Is there something in the end of the socket? That's very strange. That one is. Well, we've got an oddball bolt, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it's playing at. Very strange. Weird. It's weird. Weird Al Yankovic. What is this? What is it? No? I don't understand what's going on. Come on, it must have like a beveled edge or something. We're in. You're 10s. Okay. Normal service has resumed. Well, I can tell you straight away, the boot light has come on. Now let's just draw that putty in, and remember we did our homework with the lights. We spent a lot of time, and here's where your homework pays off. Hopefully these are going in properly. We spent some time messing around. Now very carefully feeling now. So this is a crucial point. As I draw this cluster in, what you don't want to do is crack it. If you've rebuilt the end of the car like we have, we don't know for sure we've got everything right. Now we did mock it up, but then again this is a different lens and it's been unscrewed and put back together, so what you've got to watch out as you're drawing in, start feeling around to see if it's not going to crack that, and then if it's in the way, very carefully, because otherwise, bump, and this is a good lens, we don't lose that. So I've just nipped it up for now, and it just compress a little bit, and we'll keep our eye closely on that. Right, well here's a point when we can use the camera to our advantage, okay? So, what I can do is, I won't be able to see this, okay? So, if I film it. You can be my eyes and ears. And then I'm going to go and play it back. So I'll shout the commands from the front. We'll start with brake lights. So ignition on. Then I'll hit the brake pedal and I'll call the instructions out. And you let me know if we're all working. Do you want me to move you right behind the lamp? Because this is a live chat again. Come on down. Come on, don't be shy. You're being shy and all coy for. It's a Cortina, not a Cortina. Come on. Don't be shy. Let's get you. And you're not level either, are you? You're wobbly. What are you doing being wobbly? Well, you're just not level. Please be level. No, you're still not level. Please be level. I'm not doing this shot unless your screen is level with my Cortina back. Still not. What we're doing wrong? We're doing something wrong. I'm leaving you on just so you can see how things happen around here. That's better. Now I can live with it. So, do you want to come right in front of the lens, or is that okay? Right, you call out the. I'm going to come down a bit more. I'll call them out. You tell me if it's working, and I'll look at the type screen. You know I'm just going to play it back. Brake light first. Then I'll turn the brake light off, of course, let me foot off. Then I'll do side lights, then I'll turn the side lights off, then indicator, then reverse, then all the lights on, and then hit the switch to get the fog. Let's see if it all works. I don't know because I can't see. Ignition going on, I'm going to call it out to you. How are we looking back there? Full on ignition. Turn the radio down. Oh, I might not see the reflections, to be fair, I'm looking for reflections. I can see something. Brake! No! Hey, guys! I can see the viewfinder through the back window of the car. So it's like a mirror. And we're good to go! Brake light. Side light. I can see you. Brake hand side. Might throw this clip up on Patreon tonight. Monday night for Patreon. Just a bit of fun so you can see what we've been up to. Okay, what should we do now? Indicate. Indicate. Okay. I can see you. Side light and indicate. Side. Brake. How about reverse? Reverse coming up. Hold on. We'll reverse make it. Hang on. Let's get reverse. There, I'm in reverse. Have you got it? We've got it. We've got it. Now fog. Fog coming up. Main lights on. Fog off. Now fog on. How about that? Combined reverse and fog. What happens if you're in reverse and you've got your fog lights on though? That's the thing. In reverse, fog lights on. Wow, a weird anomaly happens. Okay, brake. Indicate hazards. Hazards. No hazards. We lost a hazard. It could have blown a fuse. I think we took the indicator fuse out, maybe. Lost hazards. Don't know why, we'll have to investigate. But other than that, you're good. Out and ignition off. But we've lost hazard lights. I don't know why that is. Actually lost the system. We've actually lost the auxiliary warning too. I think we took a fuse out. Right, interior lights have gone out. We've lost a fuse. No, just a loose connection on the fuse. That's all it was. Hasn't to be back on. Sorry, loose connection on the fuse box. Okay. Shine. Yeah, shine wrong. Okay. Let me come around and have a look, see how that looks. Oh, I like them orange bulbs. Very orange. Ooh. Okay, so I'm back. This is my disco. So, what did you think? Was it alright? Was that okay? Everything worked? It looked like it did because I could see you in your little viewfinder screen from the back, quite handy. So, right, all we've got to do is copy what we've done again for that side. I'll bring you in the boot now so you can see how it lights the boot up. Come and have a look at the boot. Isn't this good? Wasn't that? What some great functionality in that. I'm made up with that. Yeah. Very. Cortina City is very happy, everybody. Lovely. Starting to look like a car now, isn't it? Come on, in the boot, let's have a look. So there it is. All I've got to do is just bunch them up and tuck them wires neatly out of the way. But look, you get nice boot lamp action. And there's our lovely boot mat. I've got to do a few little bits here and there in the boot. Found my socket. It was, yeah, I put it in one of these trays. A nice silly boy. Right, very pleased. I'm very pleased indeed. So now I'm going to make the other side. It's as simple as that. It's getting closer and closer. And then we're going to put the bumper on. Bit of wax oiling to do before the bumper. One more pass on the wax oiling gun. We'll get inside as well. Then I'll put the bumper on. We've got some reg plates on the way from Framptons. They'll be exciting. Looking forward to that. Boot lock was done last night, of course. Did we talk about the dealer stickers? That's its original, Bramble's original dealer. Alright, so it's beginning now to get it. Look, as soon as you start putting all this trim on the back. And as Wayne said, the red badge really makes it pop. You're right. Moving on to the next lamp. I won't film it, you'll just cut to me fitting it. We'll do exactly the same. Look, all the kit's over here, everybody. We'll turn the hazards off. All the kit's over here, everyone. It's dead easy to do. Start by modifying that to dual filament for the fog. Got all our bulbs from Catholic Car LEDs this time, but they don't do these ones. They should do and they don't. I think their one is one of them, you know, like a horrible LEDs. You've got to use this. Or similar, Osram. Or you get a branded one. Sylvania as well are good. Sylvania, Philips and Osram. Don't get Chinatown for your stop and tail. Please don't. Let's get building. We'll see you when it's all done. Pick your weapons. Here's our weapon. Let's get it going and let's get it looking nice. We didn't have to drill that casing either on that one, did we? Let's start by bonding that in. Exactly the same then. See you in a sec, all built up. I'm getting hyped. I love doing electronics. Do you know when I said I'd show you this going straight onto the car? I lied. That's supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger Commander. What a load of rubbish. You know when I tell you I was gonna kill you last, I lie. Oh dear me, give me a break. Right, look, I built the other one. So that's now ready to go in. So we're just going to find a decent lens, you know. I think I've got some new old stock lenses somewhere. Let's go find them, dig them out. And we'll do a twin light test. Because I know you enjoyed the single light test. So now, we'll fit this. And. We'll go. And we'll do the twin light test. Okay, a little bit less light. It's approaching evening, 8:30 in the evening. Here are our American trunk lights, boot lights. So we get a nice glow in the boot. Look at that. So there it is, switching off. So we can close the boot, set you up on the tripod. That's the boot lights done. Now we'll do full rear lamp testing for you. Patrons and YouTubers, behold, here we go. Bit of a tight angle, but we can do it. I'll start with hazards. So hazards, here we go. Let's do left and right indicate. Let's do tail lights. Let's do brake lights. Tail and brake, tail and brake. Let's do fog, tail, fog on, fog off. Let's do reverse. That, I think, is everything there for you, so that's a good show. Dual. Lovely stuff. So all our lights are done. By the way, the left and right side lamps are individually fused. I had a loose, dirty fuse connector then, and my right hand side lamp was dim. Found that the fuse was a bit mucky in the fuse box, so if you ever get problems with your left and rights, they don't come on as a pair necessarily, because you've got parking lamps on your indicator stalk, so for that reason the circuits are split. Also, in case one fuse blows, you don't lose both lights. So twin circuits, twin fused tail lamp circuits there, so watch out, your fuses in the fuse box can lead you to any fault where you've got just one side on. That's looking good. We're going to leave it there for now. I'm getting very tired. Another 12-hour day on this, but we're making good progress there. Okay, over and out for now from Pete, Cortina City, on tail lamp testing. Let's have a light show. Hold on. Light show. Why not? A light show. See how that shows up on the camera. I'm just looking on the screen. Yeah, we're looking nice. Over and out. That is it. We're gone. We're done. Patreons, these are your reg plates that you've contributed to, so thank you very much. People ask, hold on a little bit. Oh dear me, don't do that. Not that. I'm sorry about that bad camera work then. Patrons sometimes ask, although I think you probably work it out most of the time, but patrons contribute very kindly to the project, and that's what it's all about. You could argue the money goes towards my time or making the videos. It's all in the same pot, but this month we bought these and a few other bits that we needed, a water pump and a few other things, and it goes through the Patreon system with PayPal mainly, so it's used for the eBay stuff really, I suppose. But this time you can say, on this occasion, these are your plates. Patrons have put these parts into the car. They've helped me. So little bits, a new water pump that we needed. There's the radiator there. We've swapped that, or rather we've kept the other radiator because that can go on another vehicle. I have actually got, who needed a, TC needs a rad. So there you go. We've got these made. These are the nice boot trim panels. Ricky Raisins made these for me. Ricky Raisins is our vinyl expert. These are boot panels. Let's put them in the boot. Then they're safely out of the way. We've got some reg plates, of course. There you go. Now those reg plates, they're from Frampton's. A very good service and a very good price. I think £48 for the pair. That's a great price. Wow. Hell yeah, that's good. So we're going to get them fitted. We've already made the holes in the car for them, and those holes to get the exact locations are on the old original reg plates. Not that the original reg plate hold, I re-drilled the reg plate, but there's two sets of holes in the old plates. One set is a set of holes that we want for marking this out. So nice, thanks Framptons for that, thanks Patrons for helping with the fund for the car and for making the videos, and the time. And a lot of time, about 2,500 hours estimated gone in, plus the videos. It's each video minimum 4 hours to do each video, including the thumbnail. By the time I've edited it, it all goes together. We're not penny counting this. I'm just letting you know that we appreciate the Patreon support has done this, and the YouTube support has done this. It's built a car. Look, YouTubers, and I keep saying it, YouTubers have helped to get the Patreons in. YouTube's helped to keep the community spirit up, and our Friday night lovely chats we've been having. The whole thing all becomes one. We can't individualise it down to specific items. It's just a big pot that costs a lot. Join me overhead. Let me spin that lens around. Join me overhead. I'm just improving the plenum for the boot. Folks, this plenum's smoking better than a slimline panteller. Now then, what's going on? Well, it was someone had drilled some holes. This is I've managed to acquire. This is not Bramble's. Bramble's was missing. These, we've talked about them before, but these are the kind of what you call it. Well, I would call it a plenum. It fits inside the boot, and it creates the final bridge link between your internal air pressure and the external negative air pressure generated at the back boot lid air intake ducts. Look at the back of your boot lid, rain channel, bottom of your windscreen, rear windscreen bottom. You'll see two slits on the Mk3 Cortina. They create a vacuum as the car drives forward, drawing air out of the cabin. That's backed up by the fact that you've got ram air coming through your scuttle, or inducted or forced air coming through off your fan blower, creating a positive pressure in the air cabin, which is relieved by the negative pressure at the back of the car. Sorry about that. The negative pressure at the back of the car. I'm going to turn notifications off on my phone, because do not get ruled by bleeps on your phone all day long. It'll drive you nuts. So the air comes in. This is the airflow system, but inside the boot, for some reason, they created a joining position where the back windscreen internal, almost to demist it, to make the air flow down the inside of the rear glass, the rear glass, the rear window. On your parcel shelf, you've got little slots. The air comes into the cabin and sort of drifts down the back through those slots, creating a demist situation, as well as creating an airflow. From them slots under the parcel shelf, it goes into two oval shaped cutouts that actually end up going straight into the boot. If you didn't have this, those holes that go straight into the boot would have nowhere to pick up and connect to the negative air pressure vents, which are in the lower sort of scuttle rain channel of the rear aperture of the car. I'll take you over and show you. I've shown you this before. Basically what you've got is the vacuum created by the car can't connect to the inside of the cabin unless it goes through this box. If you don't have this box, you're breaking the chain, the airflow chain, so this box needs to be on and it needs to be airtight. They had a foam pad on the back. I'm suspicious as to whether they left two slots either end to also draw fumes out of the boot, but you definitely need this as part of the airflow system. Someone had fitted a boot light to it, so we're going to just add to that. Theirs was screwed on, wasn't very good. I've just filed out a hole and put a Granada little mini lamp, and we're going to add that to our boot light system we've just been doing. Well, again, we're going to use chip on board technology, slimline LED pad. It's coming up to your screen right now. There's your slimline pad, chip on board, COB, COB. In fact, I don't even think it is chip on board. It's just surface mount LEDs, very bright, fitting inside here. This will have its own little mini loom which will hook into the car, so that will basically put light right in the middle of the boot. Reason for it is this: sometimes I've noticed that you might want to read a map, you might want to read a book in the boot. Sometimes also when you're unloading stuff for a picnic, or you're looking in a toolbox, it's very handy to slide the toolbox under this lamp here in the dark, and you can see stuff better. It's just an extra level of luxury. The boot lights work good. They tend to throw the light down, whereas this across the boot, whereas this throws the light down. Got the opportunity to fit it, we may as well. These clamps, I've put a reinforcing rib on this because it was a bit wavy, it was a bit warped. They tend to do that, these. They tend to drift. There are two designs of this as well. One's a shallower design. They're often missing on your cars. In theory, you could make this out of fiberglass. I don't see why not. If you had a mould, use this to copy. As I said, I've discussed the principle in the welding videos when we're actually welding that area. So I've made this, basically it's a straight edge of hardboard just to create a better air seal, so that I've got now a good surface to attach my sealing pad to. Before that it was a bit wavy, so I've straightened it. 2-pack glue, spray adhesive, contact adhesive on. There's the lamp there, so look how it's going to work. That'll fit over the top of there. We use the epoxy to bond that in. Could use glue gun on that actually, but we'll use the epoxy to bond that in as a permanent fix. Should be good for the life of the car. So a little loom to make there. Just been dremeling out the mounting tabs. They were ripped anyway and torn, so this doubles up as an extra protection and strengthener for those locating tangs, because it's quite a weak design. So that should go up, and if the foam's enough thickness, it should seal nicely. We're going to paint it, just satin black that, and then take this out, paint it, and then satin black. So if you squeeze the little lug, this pops out, and you're good to go. There's a nice neat hole. We just used a file, cutting various cutting blades, filed it straight and square. We'll just take off that burr on that side. And you're pretty much good. You know what I'm going to say. You're good to go. So, 1, 2, I buckle my shoe, and we are getting somewhere. Might buckle on its own with some lacquer maybe. Might see. Yeah, I'll give it some paint. Okay, that's smooth enough. We're getting there nicely with this now. Yeah, still on this plenum drain. Here's a little tip. If you really want to get things to stick, this little foam, the soundproofing stuff, the Dynamax stuff, it's very sticky. But just to double up, what I did was I just put a spray of the epoxy, the Evo stick onto the face, and it primes the surface, and it really does stick. That must never come off. So it just gives you that extra. So we're in there. It should go up and it should seal. I'm going to try and fit it before I do the actual lamp and loom for the lamp. But we've got the slots. We just need to put the blade into these cutouts, and that should tab in. Obviously it's going to be stood off a little bit more, but it was anyway with big air gaps in it. So I'm hoping this will draw up. I could put some extra fixing screws in it now we've got a support ring fitted and drill in. Just checking that we don't go through the parcel shelf. We have to be careful there, very careful. We might not do it, but we'll see, because them tangs aren't the best way of securing it really. Anyway, we're getting there with that. It should be airtight and work and perform as it's supposed to. Right, I'll go and trial fit this for. Join me overhead at the rear of the car. Hang on, let's get the tripod adjusted, get the screen flipped round. Join me as I build up the rear bumper. Can you see? Yes you can. 2 new lamp units here folks. Reg plate lamp units, bringing them up to you. I got those off eBay. They could be copies, but they do say Ford on them. I've checked them and they work. We've got some LED bulbs on the way for these, but we're going to run incandescents, no problem with that. Some heat shrink going on to pair them up. what I've done, I'll just turn the soldering iron off because we're soldered now. What I've done on these bumpers, and by the way, this is fully re-chromed from S&T. Now look at this bad boy pop. Whoa! That's a class finish from S&T Chromus. ST chrome plating, S&T, because people will be asking me. That is the order of the day. That looks very much like the Matrix when the thing comes to get him out of the pod and it looks at him in the eye. You're very Matrix there. Welcome. Can you see actually this screen? Enough of that rubbish. Stop messing around, will you? Here is the bumper. I'm just unwrapping and inspecting now. I've not looked at it since it arrived, apart from a quick check that everything seemed to be okay. Alright, so on the bumpers, they have 3 sets of holes on these for mounting the rear lamps. Export cars seemed to have a pair, left and right, with the middle one not used. UK cars seem to just use the middle one. So for some reason, in different countries, they had twin, whoops, I hate the blooming tripod, they had twin reg plate lights, and on UK cars, just one in the middle. Well, you know we're not doing concourse, and you know we like lots of lights. So, let's just make sure the end of that lands on that packing piece. So we're going to fit a pair, so sound off like you've got a pair, and we fit these in just with a Phillips screw. I've made a joiner and then the plug to connect it into the harness. So basically some dog's danglies there. Okay, the dog's dooglies, they screw on. So we'll screw those on to the bumper. Get some towels down for the bumper situation. I can see an accident happening here. Towel underneath the bumper, no scratching. Towel underneath here. Right. Okay, electrical stuff now out of the way, we don't need it. So, what we want to look at, we're happy with the lights, we could screw them on if we want. What we want to look at is, we want to be putting on these bumper strips. Again, new old stock, you just got to keep looking around till they come up from time to time. Okay, so these are your rubber strips. They're handed left and right, of course. This little incline here follows the curve of the bumper, so that's the left hand side one. So these, we need to dig out some 10mm bolts. They don't come with the bolts, unfortunately. That might get me that. I never planned for this. We may not have the nuts for this, but let's go and have a see. But what we do is we fill them full of grease, pack them full of grease so they don't corrode, because they've got an awful habit of corroding these. This is why everyone's always after them, and they're the first thing to get scuffed. Hard to find, but I think Henry from the Mk3 Club was trying to get some made. If you've got a Mk3 and you're not in the club, you need to join, because that's where you find out all the info. So, Mk3 Owners Club, the link is on my channel banner, the opening page of my channel, or Google Mk3 Owners Club. Right, now then, what have we got? Bolt these on. Once we're going to pack them with grease, bolt them on. Then we've got the irons, what you call the bumper irons, so they bolt on with some captive nuts, so we need to dig those out. So we're going to get a little bit of hardware on the go, and then we're going to place the bumper on once we've screwed the reg plate on. We're going to be screwing the reg plate on first, because it's just simple enough to slot it under the bumper then, because I think it slightly goes under the bumper. Pop on the reg plate. That'll be a historical moment when the reg plate goes on, because the car's starting to really come together then, you know. So I'll get the screw pack out. What we need for the reg plate, I think I showed you the reg plate. If not, it'll be coming up in a sec. But what we need is the little yellow caps. So the screws will go into these little caps, like a casing, and then the cap clips over. You know the ones, like little dots. White for the front, of course, yellow for the back, because it's a yellow reg plate. We don't want black and white plates, because I don't like black and white plates. I think they look awful. Though you could argue black and white plates on this, on silver, would look good. But I've never liked them. I understand why people have black and white plates. Just for me personally, I just don't like them, and they're not reflective. The whole reason they came out with those plates is that it's something like an extra 200 yards of visibility built into your new white and yellow plates. They're reflective. You can be seen from further away. So speed cameras definitely pick you up. See you in a sec. Let's get them fitted. And no, I haven't forgotten that before I started on the bumper, I was finishing off the little box for the boot, and here it is. So I'm not going to forget to show you that. So the foam pad on, then over cloth with some nice tape just to blend it in. You can see even now it starts to try and wander a little bit, but it's perfectly sealed, and these locking tabs go over the top, so you're good there. So we're locked in on our tube. Now obviously I've added a light to it, that wouldn't be normal, but that's good. That comes on with the boot lamp here. Look, my hinge hits the switch and that gives you your lights, so that gives you all 3 LEDs, and that effect is well seen in the boot. In fact, what I'll do as a treat for you, I'll turn the lighting down in the workshop. It's not dark outside yet, but you'll see what I mean. Let's go over, and while we go over to turn the lights off, I'll show you the plates from Frampton's. Excellent service from Frampton's. These plates, really good. Okay, now turn the lights off. Interior lights in here, you can see glowing nicely. We've seen dash lights, we know what's going on. If I turn off the ignition, you get your door ajar warning. Okay, oh, I think we showed you the cubbyhole light and the T-shifter stick control. Looks beautiful. You get your green lamp lit when you're in drive, out for neutral, and that tells you that it's ready to receive a signal. Okay, cubbyhole lamp with your heated seat control lit up. That's on the switch. So over to the boot. There's 3 different things going on there: boot lamps, bumper and plates. Look how bright we are in the boot, folks. We're beautiful in the boot. Everything's there as we want it. And that just gives you plenty of light the roadside. Okay, let's get lights back on, and we shall get a bumper on, and we'll get a reg plate on, but we mustn't forget before we put the bumper on that we're wax oiling. Okay, here we go. Yeah, gonna do a little bit of wax oiling in the boot and down in those cavities. Let's go see. So we've got the ML. We're on ML. Okay, this is fine for this application. It's fine for that. Here's a milestone for you. Reg plates going on. Drilled. And ready to rock into our captive, little captives that we fitted a long time ago. Let's just get that. Hopefully all the work was done on these in the prep a long time ago, as I said. So this is just really going over what's already been done. Drill the holes taken from the original reg plates that were set out, and we should be on. Hard to see through to the plastic now. Could do the marking, I think that's it there. Wayne will know exactly what I mean. Just can't quite see through to get to the captive. It is there though. It's nerve-wracking. It is. Let's try again. We'll get it. Where's that? Where is it? I'll tell you what it is. About 1 million miles away. No, it's not. It's got to be there, hasn't it? Bramble gets his plates looking straight to me. What a milestone then. And that was your plates. I don't think there's anything wrong there. Clip that on. Clip that on. Yay, voila! We are now getting there. Bumper on next end. I need some bolts now for these, and I haven't got any. So I'm going to go out in the Mondeo and get myself some bolts for the end of these nuts. And I'm going to grease these bumper rubbers. I think the Mk3 Club may be getting these courtesy of Henry in the Mk3 Owners Club. If you've got a Cortina, you're not in the club, and your bumper corners are scuffed, suggestion, join Mk3 Owners Club. Gives you access to getting these at good prices. Join and find out. So then, because these are hard, they've been remade, these are hard to get, these are originals, but I'd be putting on club ones without any problem at all, but it just so happens I've got these. Okay, one nice plate, a little bit of cling film still attached to them. From Frampton's then, a great service from Frampton registration plates. Fast and good prices, all in. I think that was 88 quid for the pair. It's not bad, the quality's there. Now this especially applies when you're using these type raised black digits in terms of the price. You can get pressed aluminium plates in a lot of other places, but not many people do the plastic raised ones that you might want. Frampton's do, and the price are good, the service is friendly, and they were fast sending them out and well packaged in a really nice box. And just what I'm saying is impressed with that company. Okay, we don't need to fit the front just yet. I'm going to go out on the road and get some bolts. Then we're going to come back, grease all these, bolt them on, find some underriders, which I think I've got. The only thing I'm missing is chrome-headed coach bolts here. I've ordered those to bolt the bottom of the underriders on. Other than that, we can put it on, and then once we do put the bumper on and connect those tail lamp bulbs, the back end, I think, cosmetically is complete. So that's a milestone, and we can start pushing forward into the middle and front ends of the car. We've got headlights to do. I've got to convert those. I'll show you how we do that. We've got front bumper to do. And then the big time consuming thing will be the doors. There'll be another episode. You might be up to 42, 43 by then, by the time them doors are going on. Prop shaft and exhaust. Axle needs to go on. We're missing a bush for the axle, so can't bolt that on just yet. But it's certainly closing in like this. Look how it's narrowing all the time as we conclude the build. And all the project planning has paid off, of course. juggling all those things around so that they all land around the same time so that you can move. I think the lockdown had an advantage in that there was more time available, so that's been a benefit, although I'd rather it not. Of course we don't want that horrible virus at all, but the lockdown situation, for me, the car saved me from cracking up, although it's caused me to crack up as well. See you in a sec. Okay, I'm ready to attach these bumper rubbing strips to the bumper. Before I do that, I shall apply to this well known for rusting channel grease. Okay, all the way down. Once that's greased, I'll be lining it up with a bumper and then some 10mm bolts and washers, and that'll grip that on. We'll do both sides of the bumper, so I won't show that now. We're just letting you know that we're giving this a nice bit of protection in the back where they normally rot out. Then once that's done, I'll fit the underriders. We'll go out to stores, find them and fit them. We'll be right back. Oops. Okay, the bumper is assembled. I'm going to take it and just mock it up on the car first before coating it with a wax oil inside the back part of the bumper. I've done some grease points, but we're going to spray it with wax oil as well. So there's an assembled one. Bit difficult on your screen, reasonably narrow vision, I'll roll you through. Beautiful bumper. Okay, so off I go this way, follow me. Okay, let's try this. Mustn't forget we've got to connect the lamps as well. Need to wipe this down really. I'm risking it with slippery hands here. Let's be careful. Okay, so far. There we go, something like that is looking right. We can let it rest. We're okay. Let's have a degrease down, check everything to see how it's looking. It's looking how we set it up that time when we mocked this. Don't forget it's already been on, so nothing should have changed. Okay. It's just a question of giving it a blast now at the back, wiping it down and getting these coach bolts through the bottom. Everything should go. Coach bolts fit, so that's alright. Right, okay, that's good. What I'm going to do, clean down, bit of wax on the back of it, open the boot lid up here and start getting this position. We're nearly on, but before I do, I'll connect the red plate lights and we're nearly there. Okay folks, hello, the bumper is on. It's a new day and the bumper goes on. We needed some reg plate lamps, okay? And I'm just working out how to do a selfie thingy. Yeah, we needed some reg plate lamps, okay? Have a look down here. Fed up with cheap quality Chinese imported little bulbs that start flickering, never really make the right connection, cost you loads of time and money, then just fail. Fed up with rubbish cheap quality Ford supposable, disposable registration plate lamp bulb holders that you bought off eBay and don't work. Come over here and let's sort the problem out. Okay, turn off Karma Chameleon. That song, I love the 80s, but that's one song that really does me head in. I don't know why. I like Culture Club, but I don't like that song. Look everybody. Look what we've come up against. Cheap, nasty eBay bulbs that don't work. out of the box and they're flickering already and causing me all sorts of problems. Cheap soldering, cheap LEDs, your stuff 4K, goodbye. So what do we do next? We fit normal incandescent bulbs to satisfy the purists. It keeps those train spotters happy. It keeps those concourse boys in their seats nice and content. But oh no, it didn't work, folks. Have a look at Bramble's reg plate bulb holder. Nice, just the rubber's just collapsed. Okay, I've given it a little bit of a pull when I was fitting it, but not much. Enough to just tear that straight out of the bottom. There's the bulb that doesn't really give you what you want. It's sort of intermittent. Whole thing was flickery, and that was this. Don't like it. They're brand new. We're going to mod them. Okay, we're going to keep that, don't worry. But look what we've done. We've been busy. 2 SMD bulbs into the original holder. You can get these, so I've not sacrilege, and that will pull out. This plug will pull out. There's a plug in there. Say plug. It's epoxy resin. I mixed probably too much there. Take a dip in the epoxy. Smells fresh and clean. So probably mixed too much. But anyway, I mixed it. I was trying to get it to go just a little bit yellow, so I was trying to up the mix just to give it a little bit of a yellowish hue. The end result being that we've got our own customised, waterproof, bomb-proof, rainproof registration plate lamp bulbs, custom made. No dirt contacts to get dirty, because it's always getting water on it down at the reg plate. Hardwired, heat shrunk in. We just used these little bulbs here. You can get them. These are UK made. Well, actually not UK made, the UK supplied, but from a quality LED manufacturer. There they are. There's my mucky nails. 5, 4, 3, 2. Ba 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 ba. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone used that song for a chocolate bar. What was it? Flakes and flakes of crispy wafers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No idea. You'll let me know. Chocolate bar. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Was it a 3, 2, 1 chocolate bar? No. Was that Ted Robbins? No, that's not in Ted Robbins. Ted Rogers. Holy bins. Right. Let's fit these. Just want to make a little mini loom up. Take this old bulb holder out, and we're off. So then we can go and I'll show you the reg plate all nicely lit up. Don't want to show it yet until these are in. Okay. So the electronics bench reopened for business. A temporary pop-up bench that will pop back out of here soon. Okay. Reg plate lights. All part of the build. I think they're going to be cool. And the sort of cool white. Cool white. They'll set the silver paint off quite good. Yes, I know they're not period. Yes, I know. But there you go. Okay, just making up the loom. We're nearly done. Just need an earth tag. Now we've got our positive feed plug there to go into the original factory harness, and we need a separate earth tag because I'm not relying on the earth screws on these. They're unreliable. So we're going to make an earth tag. We've got a position where we can connect it to on the bumper. So we're going to do a little earth tag connection now on that, and that is ready to connect. So there you go. 2 nice little bulb units there. Reg plate lamps, custom built, waterproof, and should be ultra reliable, and they should look pretty good. Let's go and check it out. And there we have it. I'm just creaking about on the floor. With the bulb holders all in, that is it. You get a feel for the illumination. Pretty good. Pretty cool in the gang. Should be reliable, never need to replace those. Nice and bright. Just hitting the reg plate at the right angle as well. I think we're well lit there. What do you reckon? Cool. So, Bramble is lit up at the back. Now can you see that top reflection or light leakage there? That's to do again with the lamp holder's rubber shroud. Doesn't quite stop the backlight, even though, you know, I've modified those bulbs. They still do that. You can put a little bit of tape over it, which is what I'll probably do, so you don't get that back light escape. But a lot of cars do that. So that's the end. That concludes that. Bumpers on. Underriders just need bolting through, but we need some protective pads for those. I don't want to put them up against the paint. I want to make some protective pads to fit on the locating tabs at the bottom. Forward, I've got them for the front underriders. They don't seem to have one that's shaped for the back, so we'll make something up. At least if there is something out there, I've never noticed it before. That's a protective pad for underneath the underrider. Well, doing the boot lid at the back, and then I was a little tired, so I called it a day and left that as it was. Wheels and rubber has arrived, Avon tyres, a Revatech fan kit has arrived, and I'm just mocking it up, I'm just mocking it up in the engine bay. This is how it fits. It's designed for the Cortina or the Escort, which the radiator spacings are the same. It fits on your radiator bracket fixings here, look. I can't quite pan all the way back or pull all the way back because the roller shutter door, so the up and over doors behind me. I'm going to get these powder coated, okay, but it fits just there like that. And in front of this we're going to be having the oil cooler for the radiator, for the gearbox. So I'm making up the brackets for that now. There's already part of the bracket fixing here. People may have asked what this was for. Dual purpose bracket here supports the horn. Some of the auxiliary relays fit on it as well, and it supports the left hand side of our, not intercooler, but our oil cooler. This side we fitted the bracket for it. Originally was going to be another horn here, and still could be, I suppose, but this bracket will come in handy for a fixing for that oil cooler for the gearbox. That horn's that loud, even though it's Chinatown, it's that loud you can hear it in China. Right, we're going to show you what else has arrived. Something else has arrived. It's the bushes, which means the axle can go on. Here's the bushes. Just going to grab them now. A few more spares that I found as well in the workshop, but these are what the doctor ordered to get us up and running on the axle, and I'm hoping they're going to fit right in there. I'm about to find out whether they do. Thunder can be heard just faintly in the background. A blackbird battles for the airspace, but thunder wins. So there's nothing to stop the axle going on, and we could let the car rest on its own wheels if we want. That is up to us. People ask me, well, it's a big job to fit the axle. No, it's a one-man job. It's easily done. In the greater scheme of things, anything's easier than welding one of these body shells. I've got a speedo cable to connect. Can you see just down the floor there, we've got a little dribble of oil from the gearbox, simply because now the gearbox is tilted back and the speedo is not fully tightened up with its seal, because we've got to get the cable routing just right for that. That wants attending to. I did have a tub under there. Don't worry, we just top that back up. Simply a seal that's not pushed in on the edge of the gearbox. But we've got a choice of things we can do. I reckon that before we do the axle, so the axle's happening in part 42, not 41, I reckon that we finish off that radiator cooler, get them pipes running at the front. So I've got myself some aluminium, a bit of box section tubing just there. These are the things that I'm going to be using to make this bracket. So I'll take you across to the welder. I'll put you on the stand. We'll weld up a little bracket for this cooler. As you can see, the wheels are on at the front. There's nothing to stop us putting the wheels on at the back once that axle's in. All coming up in this episode. Sit tight, sit back, keep sipping at those beers. Coffees, teas, herbal teas, nettle teas, mint teas, spearmint teas, rhubarb teas, Peronis, vodkas, gins, ciders, ales and lagers, spirits, spritzers, minerals, champagnes and wines, all available in the foyer at the intermission. This is Mk3 at Cortina City, welcoming you on board, and let's get on and down to business. Okay, join us in the rubble and the rain as we get the welder ready to make this bracket. I'll show you how it works exactly in a minute, but before we do, let's get a weld on. I'll put the power up, I think we can get away with a bit more higher power. We'll do a seam weld down here, a beader weld down there now. Here we go. It doesn't really need a continuous weld. There's no real strength required, but I thought, well, we'll do one anyway. So we get that in, do the other side, and we're good to go. Okay, this is how the cooler mounts to the bracket. There's a gap between this bar, which I bolt through onto that horn mounting bracket, and then this just sits on top of there, and we self-tap her through, and that supports it on that side. The other side's got a bit more complex bracket because of the horn and then relay standoffs, but really it's only a question of adding a piece of this tube, box section tube to the existing bracket, getting the spacing just right, and then we'll powder coat the whole lot, self-tap her through there. We'll do the pre-drill the holes, then send the whole lot off for powder coating, and that will give us a mount bracket for both sides. Still a bit hot, this. Okay, that's all there is to it. It's going to work. We'll neaten it up, of course, but that's the outline. It's going to hold the cooling rad in position nice and parallel as well with the radiator and just in front of the fan. So the electric fan's cooling obviously both items plus the ram air. Should be fine. I think we're done with welding just for this second till we go back out and work out the other brackets spacing. We'll have to bolt this in position, hold that over it, and just work out the exact position of the bracket at that end. Okay, leave this with me. So that's what we've done. We'll call it done. I'm not going to film it all, but that's what we're doing up the front end now before I go under and fit the axle. I just wanted to get this job out of the way, basically so that I can give the parts to the powder coaters whilst I'm doing the axle. They're doing the powder coating. Saves time. Okay, then I've got the bracket mocked up. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, like I said. The up and over door's in the way, but what I'm going to do, I'll try and keep you. I really will try and keep you steady. So we're going to use the level the cooler up. Then you'll see the brackets that we've made. Let's take the cooler out of the way so you can see. So we've got one bracket that side, one this side. Oh no, the jobbie's grabbing onto the paint. Oh jeez, look what it's done. Oh no, stop that, it's got rubber feet, but no, we don't want to be doing things like that. Oh. Sorry about that. So by using the spirit level, we're going to get the marks to attach the radiator to. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to clean this weld. It was a bit too much weld on that, really. Don't worry, we'll clean it up. Get a grinder on that and finish that off. Well, like this side. So there's the electric fan as well behind it. So basically, those brackets fit in. I can take them out. They're just mounted onto the horn side there, see. Okay. So that is it for those. It's going to be a nice job. It's going to be solid. That relay fits on this multi-purpose bracket. The horn bolts on at the bottom. So that gives us something. Once they're all coated and the welds are tidied up, we'll be good to go. These are our completed brackets. Cleaned up, drilled, ready to take the radiator. So you'll see how it works. I'll lay it out as it would be. And it's that way around for that. And that. So you got your bolt through hole there into the panel of the car. Horn goes there, extra relays there, radiator in between. If we get that cooler right and take it across, you'll see how it lines up and over we go. Yours before here. Over we go. In. That fits on there. This one obviously you pull it out a bit, but you get the message. that securely mounts us in, and it's removable, so you can go back to a standard car. Again, no permanent alterations. Fan in there. Just got to take the fan out now and get them brackets powder coated along with this. So we'll take all this stuff to get done in one go. So whilst that's getting done, we're now going to get across to the axle, but it's 7 o'clock, half 7 even, 7:15. I'm going to get something to eat and call it a day for today. Plenty been going on. We've put a lock catch on, the striker catch on both sides, all plated up. Have a look. Striker plate all plated and nice, both sides. Getting ready to fit the doors, looking for door catches here. I'll try and move the camera a lot slower around. You've got to try and remember that. Very easy to forget. Lots to do. I'll see you in a few minutes. For me, it's a whole other day. Wow, you're definitely going to need, you can see the rain on the lens. I know it's on my viewfinder. Storm's still going overhead. Rolling thunder there. Definitely going to need the light. So we promised axle, and we're bringing you axle. First thing to do is get the trailing arms on the uppers and the lowers. Reason you get them on first when you're using Flowflex bushes is because they're very tight. So what you've got to do, you've got to get the bushes into the forks and slots first before you put the axle on. That's what we've done here. Quite tight. Look how tight. Look how it's squishing the bob in there. Look. Get yourself in. Come on in. Don't be shy. What have I told you about being shy? See, look. See, look. Now, to go, I had a block of wood on the end of it, and I tapped the end of the block of the block of wood with a combination of that and copper slip. Copper slip really will be your friend in this instance. I don't think the copper slip will attack the bush. It shouldn't do. Didn't put a mega amount on, but it is on there. So all 4 arms on, and as I say, if you're using Flowflexes and you're saying, how the hell did Pete get them on there? Well, you know, I've got Gravitex on here and I've not filed anything down. These are completely, nothing's been filed, nothing's been sanded. These are as they were and they've gone on. So I reckon, you know, if I can get them on, you definitely can. You just got to play it right. For these lowers, come in to this bit first, this wider part, where the cavity is, tap it there now, that wider part, come in there first and come forward. I'll show you with a torch. Imagine the torch is the link bar. Turn it that way. I went in like this, then start to head down and then striking this end with the block of wood until you start to see it come into line with the bolt hole. Then you're good to go. It will work. A bit of patience needed. Took about an hour to get these on. 25 minutes per bar, maybe 40 minutes perhaps. Anyway, we're on. We can bolt on the springs if we want here now, or we can offer the axle up. As long as the shock absorbers aren't connected, the whole lot is down and springs can be removed or added. But I just wanted to start sizing the job up. It connects to the axle on these other bushes, the 4 other bushes, quite easily. There's no sort of resistance there. So we're going to clear a space under the car. Let me drag myself out. I'm going to really try and keep the camera steady. We don't want that, any shaky camera work. Difficult. I'm handheld. Totally POV. We'll get you on a tripod shortly if we can get the angle. Low level. Low. You ought to go in at low. All I know is you have to go in at low level. You to fly over all the lakes and reservoirs in England at low level. P Poppy. So we're gonna get you low level. B Bramble. Let's go. Jack is ready. Axle is ready on the dolly. We can slide it in now if we want to. Let's clear a space, put you on the tripod so you can catch a better view. These springs look a bit short, but axle coming in at low level. You are on axle cam. Alright. Whoa! I've hit the snap-on tool chest with the other end of the axle. Come on in. Come on over to my place. Come on, baby. We're having a ball. Off you go. Head that way, folks. Head that way. Catch you in a sec. Whoa! Okay, can you see alright? I'm just checking that you can see, because sometimes we lose the camera angle or I get in the way. I'm sure there was one clip of a builder's ass, but it's disappeared down the builder's ass. Right, other angle for you. You can see, I don't even just see the jack there. I'm thinking that the jack might be able to go straight underneath the yellow dolly, because the yellow dolly's quite high off the ground. So maybe we can do that and start jacking it in position. Jack the groove. Jack the groove. It might do. Oh, let's have a look. Oh, we're in. The jack goes under the yellow dolly, which means, well, if I get the centre of gravity just right, you'll start to rise. May the road rise with you. May the road rise with you. It could be a bit. You're right, though. You're right there. You are looking a bit. You've got a funny colour. I better get you off. Okay, I found a better way than the dolly. You can actually have the axle right on the floor, okay, with the nose chocked up on a block of wood. A bit of 3B2, a bit of 4B4, little chock of wood, just lifting the nose a little bit. Then you'll find that these arms, hold on, these arms go down low enough so that you can get the bottom fixing bolt through them, thus creating a pivot. Then, with a lever bar, I use a block of wood, lift the axle up so you can slide your jack under. Then, because now if I jack this, because those trailing arms are on the bottom, it can't capsize. It was trying to capsize, as you probably guessed it would, on the dolly, but now look, we're going up in a progressed rate. I'll bring you in a bit more because this is exciting. Bramble's axle goes on. There you go, better view for you, jack view then. There you go. You stay on with us please. as I operate the jack just behind you. Let's see what we can do. We need to be heading towards the next set of arms, and indeed it's approaching. It's going to have to be tilted back to get those, but I can do that. Right, it's coming up to the next set of arms, see? So I'm just going to tilt it back, then push the bolts through, and then we're good. So that's how we did it. Almost, well, actually on the floor, the lower trailing arms slot through, almost exactly lined up actually, bolts through, and then a lever bar to get the jack under, then jack away. So that's how you can do it, and I'll not use any effort, strained or anything like that. Let's keep on going. I'll just get those top fixings on. Okay, I'm going under with some bolts. I should just be able to get this, folks. Wish me luck as I go under now. A big milestone, another milestone for the car. Bramble gets the axle, so I just want a little bit of copper slip ready for this bolt. These top fixing bolts. That's a touch on the brush there. Bolt coming in from that side. Can we do it? I'm sure it's gonna go. We need to twist and turn, twist the night away. Whoa, whoa, did you see that? And we're not home and dry yet, but we will be. Just gotta get that jack just across. Wow, it's going to be fun because the arm is slightly biased to spring upwards, so that makes it a little bit tricky than it would normally be. Simply because if I can clasp the axle in a kind of like sumo wrestling grip with my legs, pull down. Where's that gone? Hold on. We'll get this. It's inevitable that we'll get it. It's just the jack won't go laterally. Of course it's not on casters. If it was, we'd have got it straight away. I see it now. We have a little discrepancy there. Just a bit of twist on the axle itself. Let's have a look. Where do you want to go? There you want to go. I could get it from this side, but I can lock it from that side. And if this one's any easier, no, it's no better. It's just the angle of the dangle. That's the one. There you go. There you go. Oh, right. Get that all the way through. Like that. Probably the wrong bolts after all that. Wrong bolts. Nice one. But don't worry. Let's get this one on now. We've got to twist the axle around a little bit. Then we'll get that second one on. Right, I'm coming out for a sec. If that's alright with you. Different bolts required. Okay, you're live with me. I've just put that second arm in position as we increase the height. So the arm starts to line up with its bolt hole, so we're ready there. I've now got the correct bolts, so I'm going to go under and just attach those top ones. And that was it. Shock absorbers are easy, just use the jack for that. And that's it. Some little things moving there. Good to go. A couple of nuts and bolts to go on, but that's it. So 42, episode 42 saw the axle go on. We're not actually ready to go onto the floor. If I fit the wheels and the springs, we can lower the car down onto the floor. let the door close. Folks, things are going really well under here. We've connected all the main things we need to do and just put nuts and bolts on. Hang on, let's get Jobby stable. Oh dear, why didn't you sort this out before you started rolling the film? We're ready to cut the straps on these shock absorbers now and let them rise up there, and we can put the nut and bolts into the shocks, and then a couple more blasts on the jack, and we're ready. Once them shock absorbers are connected in at the top there. Okay, let's take you in, because I'm going to do that now. Lean your back if you can. Whoa, 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 this is exactly what we're trying to avoid. Stop that right away, stop that nonsense. Oh dear me, no, 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 this isn't going to work, is it? I want to get you a decent angle, not all that shaking around. I'm fed up with people moaning about my dodgy camera work. Sick to the back teeth of it. Get a better camera. Can't afford one, sorry. I haven't got any money for that, it's all spent on the car. Tell you what though, we're accepting donations if you want to pay for a camera. Nice one. Okay, here we go. That just needs a few more hits. I'm going to bring you round just so you can see the lay of the land. That's better. Right, now watch, we cut the strap, take that off, and then just get the bolt ready, our copper slip in, and this is headed up that way, so if we yank and extend, work that rod, work that piston, thrust it. No, start stupid innuendo stuff again. Right, here we go. Into the hole, we need to find... Oh. I was going to pump the... Oh. Let me just grab the jack handle. It heads off then, you'll hear the springs as well, folks, compressing and starting to seat into the sockets. We've got the springs on as well, so you'll hear sort of moaning and groaning going on. Now then, we've just headed that way. Wow, it nearly guided itself, didn't it? You can just about see that. So our shock absorber showdown is well underway, but what I need to do is make sure that the shocker on the other side isn't going to get in the way too. Hold on. Okay, it's a shock absorber showdown. You should shortly see the shocks. They're extended now, going in to their homes. The springs have just been creaking away as they bed themselves on. They will go. We're between the slots there now for this. In we go, checking that the spring on the other side, the shock on the other side, is going between its slots. It isn't, so I crawl across. I'll stay commentating for you. Just going across to the other shock. Pretty straightforward. I think a lot of you will have done all this before now. We're into sort of familiar territory, really. Couple more pumps on the jack. Just pump that rod, baby. Find the hole and pump that rod. Okay, we'll start beginning soon to be lifting the car off. This axle stands, that's where we've got to be careful. We're at max. We're ready to get a bolt through there now. So there's our Spax adjustable shock absorber meeting its home, and then if I slowly rotate you around, you'll see coming underneath the spring itself, which is seated and ready to go. And we have for that on the earlier cars anyway, this coming to your screen, larger than life, these hold down brackets for the springs. I think later cars did without, I'm almost sure they did. So that just locks on there. A little bit of copper grease just on the bolt. Bolt goes in from underneath, and that bolts the spring down. Everything fitting perfectly, everything lined up nice. No problems at all with anything on this axle installation so far. So good. Let's just get that nipped up, finger tight. That's good, we're in there. I'll take you and just show you so you can see that, how that seats. It seats just like that. Okay, so we are good to go. We're going to get the bolt in at the top, and Jobby has magnetically picked up the bolt for us. Okay, right, both sides, and I'll just go across and put the bolts through both sides. Then, would you believe we can, if we want to, lower it down onto its wheels. It's up to us, but we have got a brake line to connect. We could bleed the brakes. There's a brake line to connect, handbrake cable to connect, and that is it. We're done. Just locking the springs down. There we go. Let's do the other side as well. There we go. Flexi brake connector going on. Little locking spire type washer as well on there. Locking now. More spanners needed. Wow, wheels going on. What a moment. Another milestone. Another milestone, folks. Oh, that text always goes off when I'm filming. It's not gone off for ages. As soon as you start rolling the film, the stupid text goes off. Another milestone, everybody. Wheels go on. Let's get a spanner on them. Let's get them nipped up. Great. We're jacked at the front, but that's the first time you saw something resembling a car at the back end. We'll catch you for tomorrow's fun. Carrying on through 42 then, Cortina City, gets the axle on. Nice. We're getting there. Okay, back in the workshop. It's a Sunday morning, early start today. Hence the deep voice, which will soften and mellow as the day progresses. Today we've got plenty for you in 42. There's a water pump to replace. My brand new one failed, but we've got another one to go in. We got that from Burton, so a water pump to do. This fan's not being used anyway, folks. We've got an electric system going. We've got brakes to bleed. These red stickers remind me fluid must be injected. Okay, so this one, your piston's going to be not lubricated because there's no fluid in it, so we need to get that lubed up with brake fluid and basically bleed the brakes. Okay, this one again, you don't want to be turning the engine over with a dry reservoir. Okay, so we'll be getting those fluids topped up. We'll be getting the water pump fitted today. We'll be bleeding the brakes with our Gunson's Easy Bleed system. You may have seen them, they're really good. So we'll take you through that on the tripod. Nice and steady, no shaky camera work in this episode. We've been building these brackets here, you saw that. They're ready, they're powder coated. This now sits on its frame. This cooler for the gearbox, that transmission cooler, sits on its frame there, see? And that frame bolts on, it's adjustable to get it level. The tubes for it, I did those, didn't film this, did them last night. So a grommet, folks, through the lower part of this inner front area. See that grommet there? are drilled through, and then the pipe goes nicely through it. This is looped at the moment, but you cut that pipe, that's in input and output there. That pipe goes just under the battery tray, then picks up our cooler tubes just here to the left of the coil, you can see. So those cooler tubes are now locked into the system. Again, when we start turning the engine over, we're going to get the fluid not pumping out all over the floor. We've got, what else have we got? What else have we got? Yeah, brakes today. Radiator, oh yeah, radiator. We've got the radiator and the electric fan. So we can go and dig out the electric fan. That's in a box. Here it is. I knew I had the electric fan. A Revatech system and a thermostat to connect into the bottom of the radiator with a relay. There's the fan itself. A blower type, so we'll be fitting that. That's exciting. We always like unboxing things. We've also got, what else have we got? We've got to do the control module for the dashboard indicator. Let me take you across. You might have missed this because I don't expect everybody to be following every single thing that I do, especially on the electronics when it was detailed. But there's a modification on my dashboard as we come in slowly now to show you the modification. At least keen eyes. Look above the number 9 and you can see a little circle that's cut out. It's blacked there, but it's cut out, but that is a little disc, what I call a telltale, and the disc is on a solenoid, and when the electric fan cuts in, the solenoid energizes, the disc pops up and it's got the logo of a fan, and that idea is so that I know that the fan's running. It can spot any possible fault. Now you could have fitted a light, but if you're driving and that light's cycling off and on as this fan goes through its cooling cycle, it's going to annoy you, and any light that goes on really is to tell you something's not correct or something's been left on, not something operating normally. So most times, at least most times, perhaps not with your lamps on your modern dashboards where you get a bulb comes on when you switch your lights on, but most times when lights come on dashboards, they're on to tell you something's not right. And then there's different levels of urgency. A flashing light's normally telling you to get the fault sorted quick. A stationary light, say your washer bottle's low on fluid, would stay on and then not annoy you the rest of the journey, things like that. But what I didn't want to do, my point that I'm making is, I didn't want to have a lamp flashing on the dashboard. I wanted it like they have on aircraft. They call them doll's eyes on aircraft, where they have an indicator solenoid with a graphic painted on it, sometimes a thin line, like Vulcan bombers. I know this off Vulcan bombers. They have doll's eyes, basically solenoids, and sometimes illuminated, sometimes not, nighttime illumination, I mean, not in terms of the warning. So that's what I wanted for this, something which wasn't in my face, didn't annoy me at night time especially, but told me the fan was on. So I have to look for it, it doesn't look for me, and that was the principle behind it. So behind there's a little solenoid and a little graphic of a fan, and those wires come out into the engine bay and connect across this relay. Let's go slowly. They go across this relay, the control relay for the fan. So we're basically piggybacking across. Now I'm going to get the whiteboard and just show you a little thing slowly across again to the whiteboard. Little electronics lesson coming up. Are you ready for your electronics lesson? All one take this, so it's easier for me to edit. We've got room on the whiteboard, just about. This is our jobs whiteboard. None of those jobs are crossed off. Water pump will be crossed off today. Ordered, but needs to be fitted. Right, here we go. Let's draw a square out. Just about do it here. The solenoid, then, I can draw it like this as a coiled cable with a rod through it. That activates the lever. Picture of the fan is there. So that's just going like this on my dashboard. This solenoid, though, it's connected to ground here, needs 12 volts. But you cannot leave 12 volts to the solenoid for a long period of time. Usually for this, I'd say no longer than 30 seconds, because it gets hot. Okay, now I don't know what their permanent running time is, but I don't want it getting hot behind the dash. And when I did test this, it was hot after about 30 seconds, 40 seconds. 12 volts, by the way, but it just gets hot. Okay, now what I'm going to do is build a little relay which flips across. So this would be one of the contacts of the relay here. This one would be connected to 12. This one would be connected to a light bulb, which then connects to 12. Now then, you might say, why connect it to a light bulb? Let's get the coil of the relays connected to ground. A 12 volt signal there. Right, so what would happen is this. The controller of the Burton fan is here. That's a separate circuit, but that would go 12 volts live when the fan's going on. As I say, completely separate control circuit. That 12 volts will fire this relay. Also supply 12 volts to this contact. So that's got a bridge across and go there. Now what's happening? I'll tell you what's happening. Fan will go on, 12 volts will go straight away to the coil because this relay's not had time to energize and pull across yet. So look where the 12 volts go into the relay, begins to energize this relay, but at the same time is able to get through this contact very momentarily, which supplies full 12 volts to this coil, which begins its journey to activate. But this relay is also going, and as that goes across, it connects to a lower level of power through a light bulb. Ends up being about 4 volts. That then makes the coil have 12 for just a few seconds, then 4 or 5 volts, holding it in position and not getting it warm. So basically you get a big 12 volt pull for like a microsecond, and then it switches to 4 volts, which is enough to hold it in position. All the energy, most of the energy is needed to get the initial swing, and then it just needs a small current to hold it in position. That stops it getting hot, because that could be running potentially for 10 minutes, longer even, depending if you're doing some hard driving, especially in the Alps, which we will be in the Alps. You don't want that coil getting hot behind your dash. Okay, so that circuit needs to be built. It's not much, it's just a relay and a light bulb. It needs to be done. One of them jobs we've got to get out of the way. So a little electronics lesson there. In a nutshell, it's basically a way of quickly getting that bar across with its full power, then getting rid of that full power and just holding it with a low current, which is enough to hold the magnetism of the little semaphore, was the word I wanted, but not enough to get it running hot. It's tested. I did try it on the bench and it worked. That needs doing. That little module goes where the radiator is. So that's that. We're going to build that. But for now, before we get on and do all of those things, we're going to do brake bleeding, I think, to get them brakes bled and out of the way before we get the water pump done. Here's the water pump on the bench. Looks a good quality one. Really does look a good quality pump. It's got stamped up with a logo, which is always a good sign. BGK, I think it is. It's a nice unit. So that'll be getting fitted. Let's go and do the brakes first. Let's dig out our Gunson's Easy Bleed, and we'll get that brake bleeding job out of the way. Some cloths we've got from Wipex. They're the boys to trust. We'll be putting them all around the brake servo in case there's any spillages. It's a crucial time, folks. So we'll put them there. Wipex then, look. I get all my cloths from them boys. Thank you very much, Wipex boys. Hay fever again, don't know why. Don't normally get it. Oh well, doesn't bother me that much. Okay, brake bleeding time. Gunson's Easy Bleed on Project Bramble episode 42.